So we're coming up here on time. So I have one last question for you. Probably one.
Okay.
What do you miss most about Chicago?
You, Rich.
Besides that, of course.
Besides Rich, I miss having my community of artists. There's so many people here, and I honestly don't really know where to find kind of what I miss in Chicago still.
Mm-hmm.
I go out a lot and I try to find different types of people, but I grew up in Chicago. Everyone I know knows each other, so I'm never gonna end up in a situation that I hate,
Yeah.
No matter where I go, I'm gonna run into somebody I know. Chicago's just smaller and I know so many people, but now every day is a toss up. Sometimes I'll take the train an hour and a half away and then end up somewhere that sucks. So there were so many, and I miss casual bars where I could just dance to Drake or whatever. And I miss my mom.
Those are great. I do have one more now that I think of it. So the last time you came on, you were talking about learning in New York and bringing it back to Chicago. What are some things that you've learned living in New York over the past year?
Learned in New York. Well, number one, I don't know when I'll be back to Chicago now. I really had planned on coming back soon, but it's going well, I guess. I'll be here for a little bit.
Well, yeah, you don't need to put I need to be back by this time. It's like you're
still learning. That was kind of what I was doing. But
well, you seem to be so much more like an updated version of Carlita.
Ooh, I like
so
that.
Wise and so
so what was I before?
So much more confident. What?
So what was I before? No.
You were just an earlier version of yourself. During 2020, wow. I started thinking, I started having these revelations. I had at least 9. And every time I think, oh, I just updated my operating system.
Okay.
So it weeds out all the bugs and you just advance. You're just an updated version.
Yeah.
Upgraded, So what have you been learning? Yeah. Back to you.
What have I learned in New York? What was the question?
So what have you been learning in New York over the past year?
Okay. Here's what I've been learning in New York. I have learned that there are actually different types of people. I think I said this before, but I used to think I had a diverse group of friends because they looked different. Turns out they all have the same education and the same hobbies and interests and taste in music. And now I have people who are actually different. And I have to, like I said, learn how to interact with different types of people, which is, I've always been proud of the fact that I am so good at talking to anybody. I could just start a conversation. Turns out that's with all of my friends at home. Are different, and you gotta come in with different icebreakers, come in with different questions. So being able to like I said, tailor my and so now I think if I went back home to Chicago, I think I'd be so much better at making friends. Even though it would be easier, I think I would be able to have a wider variety of things that I might want to talk about, or just different ways to start the conversation, Not always just that, hey, it's Carlita. Kind of.
Yeah, like we were talking about before, right?
Yeah.
Besides yourself and what you've learned, anything in New York that we can do here in Chicago that you think would be a good idea?
I can tell you what not to do.
That's helpful too.
Not be a jerk. We're jerks. What you can learn. Chicago does everything better. I'm not gonna lie. The food is better. The streets are nicer. I guess having delis around is really nice. I wish there were delis in Chicago.
Okay.
I also
do you eat pizza a lot out there?
The pizza here is trash. It's not as it's just it. I tell people it serves a different function, a completely different function. Chicago is a celebratory thing. You have it at slumber parties. You have it, deep dish after graduation. It's something you order for a reason.
Yeah.
Here is what you drink, what you have when you're already hammered and you don't care what you're putting in your body. So they're both important, but they're completely different reasons.
Completely different, yeah.
No, New York doesn't. I think there's nothing that I can say man, I sure wish Chicago. Yes, Chicago, I think I said this before, Chicago needs more free public spaces where people can hang out.
Yeah. Well, they won't get around to that until after COVID.
Yeah. 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 No.